we know that pre-patch is coming at the end of this month, right? And there's going to be a bunch of systems that actually come in. So pre-patch is kind of split into 2 weeks. The first week when it comes out, we're going to get all these new systems, including Warbands, a bunch of other stuff that we're going to talk about here in this video. And then the next week, you'll see the world events go live. So let's see all of the new systems that we're going to get in the War Within pre-patch that'll change WoW forever.
The War Within pre-patch is just around the corner. It's July 23rd, less than a month away, and in this video, I'm going to walk you through all of the major changes coming with the update, and there is a lot. We have all major War Within systemic changes. That means Warbands, which is a hefty feature that itself has got many little sub-features. I'll break that down. We, of course, have got changes to dragon riding. It's becoming evergreen. Then the leveling experience is changing, as is loads of the UI. There are so many new elements, even added since our last video. Then, of course, there is Radiant Echoes. That launches on July 30th. It's the actual pre-patch event, so if you want
by the way, he's saying July. That has not been confirmed yet by Blizzard. I don't know why they're holding out. Now, maybe it will be confirmed today at some point before this video goes live, but everyone's guessing that July 23rd, the pre-patch will go live, and then July 30th, these Radiant Echo events will go live.
Play, that's your thing. Today's video, though, is about all of the systems changes you are going to get on patch day, the 23rd of July. And I've got a quick little request. If you would like more of what we do, subscribing will help you and us. Basically, right, subscribing along with likes are positive signals for the algorithm, and that actually helps us get our content out there to more people, and in turn, that helps me and the team bring you more content and make it better.
This really does help. Me, kids. I'm going to open this video.
With that said, let's go. Warbands then. Other than this strange new login screen, this is the first thing you'll notice when you first log in to the pre-patch. Pretty cozy, and there's new functionality. Your favorited characters from across all realms are present in the favorites area, which is dead handy if you play characters across multiple realms, because that'll save you a few clicks swapping between them. It's limited to 4 characters right now, and there is only 1 background. I think it's almost a foregone conclusion that there will be more backgrounds in the future, perhaps ones that are...
Yeah, I would love to see not only more backgrounds, but I would love to see achievement-related things, like, I don't know, you can hang the head of Onyxia, in Stormwind like that, those kind of things that used to happen. I wish, like, there were indications of, like, bosses you killed. I don't know, like a shattered Frostmourne just sitting on the floor over here if you've killed Arthas, or something else hanging in the background, like I said, Onyxia's head off in the distance, who knows. But some really cool, like, achievement-related stuff that you could get to kind of add to this background, I think that would be a great thing. Like, first of all, achievement hunters would chase that shit down, and even people like me who don't care much for achievements, I'd go for them just to have a cool-looking warband screen. I think it would be amazing. There's a lot of potential here.
In the future, perhaps ones that are player unlockable. And from speaking to developers myself and looking at other
favorite
people's
armor
Q&As,
stand, yeah,
it seems like the warbands right now are a foundation, right? They're about quality of life. They're about account-wide things. It does seem though that in the future, warbands are going to be what they build a lot of progress off, and maybe even some content. I know a lot of people love the idea of a warband house. I love that too, but it's not coming in War Within, and it's not coming in pre-patch. So let's continue with the things that absolutely are coming. Where you'll notice an extra bit of polish. Character animations are now spec-specific. It ain't a game changer, but it's kind of snazzy, and it's WoW actually becoming rather polished, which is important because it's a pretty old game. If you hover
if you played the PTR, it used to be that they would just stand up and sit down. Now they actually have like a cool stance based on their class.
Characters, you'll also see an enhanced tooltip. It gives you loads of new information. Things like profession, Mythic Plus score, current spec, and even the amount of gold in their bags. But a fancy login screen can only go so far, so let's hop in game and talk about the changes you'll feel in gameplay. Number 1, Transmog. Warbands totally change it. You'll be able to learn any transmogrification appearance regardless of the armor type in any character. As an example, in the old system, if you went into, say, Taurus and you're Paladin, and you killed all the bosses, you would only learn the plate transmogs. In pre-patch and beyond, you will actually learn all of them account-wide. And that means that you're basically progressing 4 times as fast. Far fewer of those items will just be useless vendor trash. To dive into a few more details, unfortunately, they're not able to...
It'll give you another reason to run a raid or do other things, too. It's pretty cool that you can hunt down transmog for all of your characters on a single character. This is a really nice addition to the game.
Magically make this thing retroactive. However, anything that's currently sitting in your bags will actually, when you log in, be added to your overall transmog collection across your account. And that means that if you are playing alts and you just get bits of gear that are maybe for another armor type, type, don't vendor them. Keep them in your bags because on patch day, they will be learned across your account.
Right.
Now, one downside through this is that you cannot learn a gear token on a class that token is not compatible with. It's basically a tech issue, but it's one Blizzard have worked around. They've made it so the tokens will become warbound, meaning you can mail them to your alt. Or you could use the new Warband Bank. We'll talk about that later. What this does, though, is it just blasts open Mog farming, and it's not just for raid drops. Take the likes of reputations. This applies to vendor-sold appearance as well. As an example, that includes covenants, it includes renowns, and even quest rewards.
I mean, basically, I feel like everybody's going to have like a mage now just to do Arcane Explosion like raid runs. Like for old raid content, because there's some classes that are just better at AoE than others. So now you're just going to have people who have their like mage alt that they just use to blast through old raid content and then farm all of the transmogs for all of their other characters as well. But yeah, I think it's a good thing.
It had some lovely gear, but man, I don't want to do a lot of that stuff 4 times to get it on all the different armor types, and with pre-patch, I won't have to. Lastly, then, there's a new feature in the Appearances tab. If you click on the drop-down menu at the top right, it is now going to let you preview appearances from any class, both for individual items and full sets. So overall, this is a humongous upgrade to the transmog system, but for Warbands, I'm not done. Reputation's the next thing, and many of them are becoming account-wide. Now, it's a rollout that will be happening in stages. It begins with Dragonflight Renowns, which will be account-wide as of pre-patch.
Awesome.
Then, of course, whenever the War Within launches, the War Within Renowns will be account-wide via Warbands at the very start. Then as time goes on, Blizzard are going to expand this feature backward. What that basically means for you is that when the War Within launches, you won't need to regrind renown on every single character. That is a humongous boon. As an example, let's just say you've maxed out a bunch of renowns on your main. Maybe there's just a little smidge of player power there, some useful bits of starter gear. You can immediately pick them up on your alt and have them be useful.
Oh, I didn't think about that. Yeah, because if you have your renown all the way maxed out, you can go to the vendor for whichever covenant or whatever that is, and then go buy all the gear and just gear out that way. That's pretty cool. We're safe. I just go. Interesting thought though that you're saying, Egg and friends, that they could use the Warband screen to basically substitute for not having player housing. I think that would leave people enraged. This system's good because I hate grinding out renown. I freaking can't stand that shit. So having it across counts would be a nice thing.
And so what this means for you is simple. When War Within launches, you won't need to regrind renown on each character. It's going to be totally different how it felt in Dragonflight launch. I think very positive. Next then, Warband Banks. They're real simple. They function like personal guild banks. All your characters can access them. It's pretty much as simple as that. Unlocking all the tabs does cost gold though, and quite a lot. It's 1k, 25k, 100k, 500k, and finally a cool 2.5 million. Bit of sticker shock there, but I suppose it does help gold matter. I understand why Blizzard want there to be gold sinks in the game. This is certainly going to be a long-term progression thing, given the
anyone who needs that many bank slots probably is some kind of like profession whore or something, and they have tons of gold anyway, so it's not going to matter. But we just saw the other day, engineering's going to have a mount that's 3.1k to craft. 3.1 million, gold to craft. So there's lots of gold sinks coming in the War Within, that's for sure.
Warbands are an
the remnants
feature,
of the WoD economy.
Gold numbers are rather
Still
inflated. A particularly nice thing, though, and this is, I don't want to say it's a game changer, but it does feel like a game changer. There's a new quest line in Gadget-san that will reward you with a mobile Warband bank. That will essentially mean a summonable, shared, account-wide stash for all of your characters. A massive gameplay improvement.
That's nice.
Currencies then, they're also account-wide with some exceptions. You can use this fancy new currency transfer window to move funds between your different characters. Most of the cosmetic ones are one-to-one with no tax, though some power-related currencies like honor do have a small tax. But basically, what used to be scattered around loads of different NPCs via things you had to mail to your characters, that is now just a part of the game's UI by default.
Nice.
I think it being part of the UI by default means that it'll be easy for Blizzard to make currencies tradable across characters on patch launch. Because
one interesting thing that somebody brought up was those, if you guys remember those time warped curios or whatever they were called, those things are spread out on a couple characters. If you played back in, what was it, BFA that we got those things or what? Now you'll be able to just send them all to one character and buy shit on them. Or same thing with the time warp badges. You know, for all of the old raids that you can run, using those now, you can just put them all on one character and buy things. Like say you wanted a mount, but you haven't been able to get it. You could put all the currency on one character and buy the mount, and then guess what? The mount's account wide. So like it's a really good, quality of life improvement for people.
They just have the UI to do it. It's very easy.
Time
They've also
warp
listened to player feedback, and they've added time warped badges to this system.
There it is, yeah,
which is a
big,
big change. Yeah, account-wide time warped badges. That is a pretty massive win overall. Like, this is a great time saver. For the time warp badges, though, the time walking quest and item drops that you get pretty much once per time walking event, those are per character. So I really imagine this will let you accelerate your progression quite a lot indeed. And at the very least, you'll be able to consolidate your currencies from across different characters. And with that being done, you'll be able to purchase more expensive cosmetics that you otherwise couldn't. Stuff like the Priestess's War Saber or any of the expensive time warp badge mounts. Next, then, achievements. Achievements are, of course, becoming warband wide.
Yeah, the curious
individual
coin,
character progress is basically merged. The exception, though, is prestige achievements like ranked PvP, Mythic Plus, and high-end raiding. Next, then, a massive quality of life change. Quests completed by one character flag as being done for the whole warband. And they've given you a new map filter to hide warband completed quests. So if you played Dragonflight and you went to Valdrakken on an alt and basically hated the way your map looked,
question marks everywhere if you did that.
Good news. That's basically not a problem anymore. That is a lovely change for the high-end Mythic Plusers who have unlocked their dungeon portals. Those dungeon portals are no longer character-bound. They will be warband-wide as of pre-patch, as are flight paths, by the way, and even map exploration can be shared with the new The Warband Map to Everywhere All at Once toy. It's a bit weird. You unlock it by...
That's so weird. But the flight paths is a big deal, too, actually. People don't realize. But I've gone on an out before and, like, literally logged out because I don't have the flight path, and I don't feel like going and walking that shit right now. So there's just some big things that'll make not only your main so much better because of the currency transfers and everything else, but playing in alts is just going to be so much more friendly.
By leveling 2 characters to max level, and yeah, when you use it, it just reveals the map.
AFK travel. Yes.
Weird, but there you go.
But when you're playing in alt, a lot of times that's what you're doing is AFK travel. You're just going somewhere, doing something real quick.
Next, I've got Dragon Riding. They've renamed it to Sky Riding because it's no longer just for dragons, and it comes in pre-patch. Basically, it applies to most mounts in the game, at least, most flying mounts. They've taken the old Dragon Riding talent window, they've streamlined it down a bit, and they've added it to the mount journal, with you earning talent points just as you level up. So you don't actually have to go and farm out glyphs like you did. Now, the glyphs still will exist, but I think they're really just there for achievements. Yeah. Anyhow, the point is that by the time you hit the current cap of 70, you will have maxed it out. They've also done a nice thing with the Lightning Rush ability. Now, this used to be exclusive to the Algarian Stormrider mount, which was included in the premium editions of the War Within. The good news is, it seems that that is just on the talent tree now. And that is a really, really good thing. It should not be the case that the Epic Edition of the game gets you like a different traversal ability. And that shouldn't be the case. And thankfully, it's not going to be the case because it's going to be a baseline choice. A few more things in mounts then. So the journal also includes a Skyriding tag and filter, which is handy. And then we have this, the Steady Flying toggle. It's got a 5-second cast time and it just switches you over to the old style of flight. And quick tip.
I'll be honest though, I don't get, so he's talking about the toggle between regular flight and I just call it regular flight and dynamic flight. It's a 5-second cast. I still don't get why that's the case. Why can't it just be an instant click? I don't know if it's a system limitation or what. But it has made my Dragon Riding far nicer. I find the blue aura effect to be way too strong. You can actually turn that off. I think it's in as an accessibility setting, but honestly, I just like not having my screen be assaulted by a big blue spell effect. So Blizzard, I do like how you're reinforcing motion, giving a sense of acceleration with that effect. I just think it's too strong. And I've saved the best for last. As of pre-patch, you'll be able to skyride from level 10. Now, of course, that will be the newbie starter version. You won't have any of those talents. What it does mean, though, especially when you get a few of those talents, when you're leveling up, it'll be pretty massive. You'll just be able to absolutely zoom from objective to objective way faster than regular flying. So that'll be pretty big. I just wonder how that's going to feel for new players. Like that amount of speed, I don't know if it's a good thing. Like a new player, imagine you're exploring Elwyn Forest for the first time, you leave, and then all of a sudden now you can dynamically fly everywhere. I mean, where are the adventures? Like going into Westfall, you're just going to be flying. You're not even going to look at Westfall. You'll be moving so fast you won't even explore it. They don't have it. Oh, is it only for alts or something? Because he just said level 10, you unlock dynamic flying. I'm like, what? Long way from how it was years ago. Oh, no doubt. They won't have flying mounts as a new player. Yeah, but all the mounts are going to be on. If you get flying, I'm sure you're going to be able to buy a flying mount. I don't know, but the way he just described it, I don't know if that's a good thing.
Of course, will work really well with the changes to leveling. Leveling changes then. So, pre-patch brings a very large reduction to XP. You'll only need 45% of the previous total amount of XP to reach level 70. That might seem like a totally unhinged thing, but basically it's something they do in most expansions so that the overall time to hit max level doesn't get out of hand as they keep on rolling through the expansions. This isn't applied evenly though, so there's a 20-ish% reduction from levels 20 to 50. That goes up to 40% by level 60, and the most significant cuts are in the 60 to 70 leveling bracket with a pretty damn spicy 75% XP reduction, which very much means if you're leveling up new characters for War Within during pre-patch, yeah, you're going to have a pretty good time. Pre-patch leveling is going to be pretty mad, especially because Mop Remix will still be active, though remember any Mop Remix characters will remain locked until the time running event ends, so that is a little bit unfortunate.
Coming
still,
soon.
The point is you can batch level characters.
I think that's on the 19th, right?
So in Chromie time, it's been extended to level 70, meaning you can hit the pre-patch level cap by doing any content, which is great for topping off your alts without Dragonflight fatigue. And finally, BFA is no longer the default. New players will hop straight from Exile's Reach into Dragonflight.
This is a good thing.
With that, the dark chapter of BFA leading to Shadowlands is gone.
Yeah, that's good. I think that's basically the Dragonflight questline feels like it was designed to be the starting questline for the game at this point. It basically leaves you into the World Soul Saga. So anybody who joins the game for the first time, I think it'll be a nice segue into the current expansions, which is good. And I feel like they created it with that intention in mind. The other stories are nice,
pre-patch event and
they
it
don't
kicks
matter
off July
right
30th. If you've done previous pre-patch events, this is going to feel very familiar. Timed events will basically pop up across the old world. You go there, you grind currency, you get rewards. They're going full nostalgia mode this time with basically it being themed around Azeroth's memories.
And by the way, your Misc Pandaria boys should be... Are they going to be available for this, or is it August that those... It doesn't matter because this currency is going to be account-wide, so you can just hoard all the currency and then transfer it to your Misc Pandaria Remix alt guy when he transfers over, and then just buy all the gear. So it's not going to matter.
He's manifesting. It's pretty neat. You'll earn catch-up gear. There's an heirloom ring and various different cosmetics like mounts and pets. And you'll likely also get a shitload of character levels because level 10 characters can take part. So assuming you've got travel sorted, you should be able to blast through levels.
Yeah,
and
these are always good for leveling.
Up, you'll be getting loads of the pre-patch currency, which will get you the catch-up gear and the rewards. Now back in Dragonflight, a similar event could see a character hitting level cap in maybe 2.5 to 3 hours. It would depend on things like maybe your rested XP as well. And it certainly is not fast enough to compete with Mop Remix, but of course Mop Remix characters will be stuck in Pandaria until August 19th.
Yeah, so August 19th, and people were bitching about, oh man, I'm not gonna be able to do the Radiant Echoes event. You will be able to for a week until the expansion comes out, but at the same time, these currencies are grindable and they're Warband bound, so you can just grind out the currencies on your main and then transfer them all to your Mop Remix character and then buy all the shit you wanted to buy. And same with the gear, actually. I think you could just buy the gear and transfer the gear. I think that's all Warband bound too. So it'll be fine. I think the best leveling zone experience was Wrath. I do too. I still love Northrend and leveling through Wrath and everything else, but story-wise, it doesn't make sense to go through all that and then you never kill the Lich King, you just move on to the next thing. It doesn't make any sense. So I think Dragonflight story is the best thing right now to segue into the current expansion.
Characters you level in any other way will not be. Okay, talents. Pre-patch brings major talent changes. Hero talents are the big new thing, but the core class and spec
play around with these.
Will go live immediately. This is your chance to get familiar, your chance to test drive new specs. Like, seriously, it's worth it. I mean, hell, looking at, say, Hunters, we have went from being honestly pretty damn rough to actually something that's enticing now. There are so many changes. War Within has broadly done a pretty great job just iterating player pain points. It is not perfect, but it certainly is strong. We also see talent loadout slots see a large boost with the cap jumping from 10 to 40. Previously, people, like if you're playing, say, a multi-role class and you're doing so across different types of content, you would legitimately run out of talent presets, and that's
insane. What's wrong with people?
Now, though, they won't.
I feel like 2 different talent. There's no way people have that many specs. Come on. You probably have like 1 talent that you're switching between the 2 and you saved it as 2 different specs or something. Can't you just click and unclick the talent? I don't know. I mean, this is better. Obviously, it's better for people, but my God. Some people play this game in some
Next up, UI, where
crazy
ways.
War Within
is not doing what Dragonflight did. It is not a big revamp. Instead, it's polish and usability, which actually matters a hell of a lot. Sometimes even a hell of a lot more. I've done a full video recapping things, but basically, here's some of the notable stuff. Number one, the spell book. It's got a total makeover. Basically, it's been moved to the talent window now. It's got a search bar, which is really, really good. It's got the option to hide passive abilities. We've got the likes of quest management improvements. The quest log interface now includes a checkbox to track quests and a search filter. World map icons are updated across the board, from city hubs to raid entrances, and most of those things can now be super tracked.
Oh wow,
as well,
is that the new city icon indicator? What was that? Dornegal, when he was floating over it? Yeah, Earthen Capital. Oh, cool. Oh, I didn't know all these things were coming.
Most of those things can now be super tracked as well, which really is quite fantastic. And the map has now got a legend. It actually breaks down what every single new icon means, which will be big for new players. Then there's the objective tracker.
So that's the hub bonus objective. What is that? What is the two masks? Oh, he doesn't show it here. Event, World Boss, Rare Elite. Oh, nice. There's a separation between Rare and Rare Elite. World Quest. This is cool. Yeah, these are good.
Art, it's got some more subcategories. You can see it's a lot of polish. And the visual upgrades extend to the 3D quest indicators and the Flightmaster icon. Then they've also replaced the spell book with professions and the micro menu, I guess. And there's other nice little tweaks too. As an example, there's a lore item mini-map icon. And you know, world events, things like the soup, well, those have got their own unique icons now. So you don't have a situation where they've just reused the one from the Grand Hunt for everything else. Plus loads of other things. They seriously have done a lot of polishing here. Even the likes of the HD cursors, things like the arachnophobia mode, the revamped camera collision, which I think is like the number one change here.
This is
self-highlight, character silhouette.
If you don't know what he's talking about, you know how the game typically right now, like if you're scrolling the way he's rotating around, the camera would pop forward all of a sudden when you get to the tree. Now it just
whenever
stays.
You are occluded by by objects.
It's good for machinima, maybe.
It's fantastic, and you can check out this video to learn more. Next then, some miscellaneous things that can fit elsewhere. The human diplomacy racial is getting replaced in the pre-patch. The old one was great. It was a 10% rep buff, but I think we all know that it was just a little bit OP, and probably it would be a bit more OP in the world of warbands and more account-wide progress.
Just remove all trees.
So in its place, we have got No Place Like Home, which is a bit odd. It gives you a 5-minute reduction to your Hearthstone cooldown and an extra charge, which potentially is useful, but it obviously is a downgrade. But look, anything would have been. Then guilds have also been made cross-realm with the account services relating to...
As a human, I feel super sad about this, to be honest. I mean, diplomacy was great. I get why they did it, because you're going to have people who feel like they have to have an human alt to grind reps, but come on, man. The double Hearthstone.
Which potentially is useful, but it obviously is a downgrade. But look,
could have been cooler.
Then guilds have also been made cross-realm with the account services relating to guilds being removed. They've also removed all talents that increase ability melee range because they just don't feel like it's needed anymore. And they've added in a new visual for fear, silence, sleep, stun, and interrupts, plus a new visual that will be applied to anyone with a 50% or greater move speed reduction, which is real nice for readability, mostly in PvP. And on PvP, well, arenas are actually getting a lovely feature. There will be levers in the starting area, and if every player on both sides pulls the lever, it will cut the pre-match timer down to 10 seconds so you can get straight into your game. Which, it's a small thing, but it's pretty big impact.
It's going to be that one guy who doesn't do it.
Let's talk about what's not coming. So Dragonflight pre-patch gave us new content things like the Drakthir Evoker, race class combo, and of course, the really big systemic changes like the new talent trees. But there is no such equivalent this time around. The Earthen Allied race are going to be unlocked in the expansion itself, as are hero talents, so those won't be here. So there you have it. That's all the important stuff that is coming for pre-patch. And with all of this, you can do a lot. I mean, hell, even just moving all of your, say, Argent Tournament seals, moving them all into one character, buying a bunch of mounts, finally consolidating your 7th Legion service medals so that you can get the Priestess's Moonsaber. All of that stuff will be pretty cool. And absolutely, I will be doing transmog runs. Because, I mean, man, it's just going to feel like it's absolutely overpowered on turbo mode, getting 4 times more things going into your appearances, which will, of course, mean if you start a new alt and it's a different armor type to what you normally play, you'll actually have some good visual options. So that's it for now. I hope you found things useful. And if you would like to check out what's going on in the lore, so you actually understand and can enjoy and appreciate the expansion, well, check out this video next.
Nice. Yeah, don't forget... not only will Transmog be farmable across all characters, but there's so much more Transmog now. You guys remember slowly but surely they were making like a bunch of gray items and all these different green items transmoggable when they previously weren't? I mean, now you'll be able to go to like dead mines and shit and just run it and get all the gear. all the stuff that used to be like not transmoggable gear, a lot of it's going to be transmoggable now. So I mean, every transmog hunter's wet dream is literally going to be fulfilled in the war within. So that's really nice. Can't wait. Yeah, no, a lot of people are excited about this stuff, as they should be. These are nice improvements to the game. Nice quality of life changes as well. So nice video from Bellular.